Are you serious? Say no. I shall come as a feather, silence against your heart. I shall come as a feather, silence against your heart. Are you serious? Say no. Are you serious? Say no. Before you enter the gates of Zion, free from evil.
Zion, you can't leave it that mountain.
Before you enter the gates of Zion, free from evil.
Zion, give me Libra that mountain.
Moving towards balance, standing in truth, establishing order with harmony. Bring forth justice and equality. What's to say? Are you serious? Say no. Are you serious? Say no. I shall come as a feather, silence against your heart. Before you enter the gates of Zion, free from
Todos podem ser bem mais do que se pode crer. Eu quero mesmo é ser homem de bem. Vou conquistar sem medo de errar. A natureza na grandeza de se dar. A indiferença em torno de um coração eu vi, mas também vi a promessa bem na hora do fim. Filho da estrela, teu brilho é a folia. Me livra da maldade, me ilumina noite e dia.
Moving for balance, standing in truth, establishing order with harmony. For justice and equality, and righteousness. Moving for balance, standing in truth, establishing order with harmony. Bring forth justice and equality. Are you serious? Say no. Are you serious? Say no. Are you serious? Say no.
Greetings, good rising. Thank you for joining me this evening. Of course, it must be Rhonda. Is that Rhonda?
Of course.
Of course. There was a few other people on earlier, but maybe that was you also.
Yeah, I've been on for a few minutes.
Okay, yeah, there was 2 other people on earlier.
Oh, then
well, anyway, that wasn't me. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure the other ones will come back. People have been getting dropped from the calls a lot. So, how are you this evening?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. I had a really good day, so I'm ready for the week or the strength.
Yes, we're ready for the strong end.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, well, tonight's episode is about living with Ma'at is self-care. This is a self-care webinar series, and the goal or the idea is to each week or each strength talk about different aspects for self-care and always applying sound healing principles, because that's always a part of my self-care.
Right.
And the moon moved into the sign of Ma'at yesterday, and or the day before yesterday, and the sun also moved into the sign of Ma'at right around the same time. So the next 3 weeks until November 23rd, and we are in the sidereal sign of Sidereal Libra, also known as Ma'at. So I thought for the next 3 episodes we could learn about Ma'at. So tonight we're just going to cover a few basic self-care ideals or practices, and then next week we will dive into some of the teachings of Ma'at.
Okay.
So that's the plan. And then the following week, I don't know what we'll do. We'll think of something. So for those of you who are not familiar with me, Rhonda is very familiar with me, but for those of you who will be joining the replay later, KemeTones is a sound healing protocol system that's based on principles of Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And we use acutonics tuning forks that are tuned to the planets, giving us the cosmic sound, and we use the tones instead of needles. At KemeTones, we correspond to various Neteru ancestral forces such as Ma'at and Aset and Asar, and also some of the Orisha and different archetypes from various indigenous cultures and practices. And HeruScopes is a 13-month sidereal astrology system based on Kemetic wisdom. The astrology system that we're most familiar with is based on an illusion. It's based on the motion of the Earth around the Sun, and they named each segment of the circle after a constellation, but it does not deal with the movement of the Sun and the planets through the constellations. There's also a 13th constellation called Ophiuchus between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and at HeruScopes we refer to this cosmic force as Hotep. If you want to learn more about HeruScopes, please visit HeruScopes.com. And my name is Tachia Ahmet El-Maat. I'm originally from Chicago, and this photograph here is taken inside of the Crystal Pyramid Room in Hyde Park, one of my favorite neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. And I was training to be an astronaut, well, getting a degree in astronomy with hopes of becoming an astronaut. And life had a different plan for me. Instead, I became an inner astronaut, whatever that means, studying the stars and energies that live within us. And I still love to look at the stars, but lately I've been learning how to use the stellar energies and frequencies and planetary frequencies in our own healing, as above, so below. And I'm also a reggae artist and Kemetic priestess, devotional singer, songwriter, yoga practitioner, and recently wellness coach. And if you'd like more information on myself, my services, my offerings, my music, or my works, please visit tachia.com, TCHIYA.com. Okay, so let's dive in. Here's a chart for the new moon, which was just a few days ago on October 30th. And as you can see here, we have, I'm really excited about Heru and Raphan, or Saturn, Heru, Venus, and Saturn in the sign of Hotep for the healer. And then down here for the new moon, we had the moon, the sun, and Mercury all in Sidereal Libra. And I invite you to watch the video that I put together for the new moon alignment. And, here's the link here. You could go look at it right now. It's only 15 minutes. And I have a lot of chanting and the words to the songs and just the powerful energy that that will be with us for the entire, I call them month of Maat. And here is the chart of tonight where the moon has moved into Scorpio. So I'll just take a few minutes to talk about this, but really, please look at the video for a more insightful discussion. So for the coming few weeks, especially tonight, we have the Sun and Mercury in the sign of Sidereal Libra, or Ra and Jehuti in the sign of Maat. And so that means that this is a wonderful opportunity for us to use our creativity and our writing to express Maat, to bring about balance in our life. And I just finished going through the 40-day Open Your Money Flow Intensive, and Rhonda was a participant as well. And I had many amazing breakthroughs, but at the end of it all, the main message for me was I need to establish balance in every area of my life, because I have a lot of extremes. So even this the chart for tonight, it's symmetrical, but there's this huge opening here on the left side, which means that there's a little bit of imbalance in the stars tonight. But anyway, for this coming month, the goal and the focus, as coming from the cosmic forces, is about writing about Ma'at, talking about Ma'at, studying Ma'at, using our creativity to share Ma'at with others. I have a song that I wrote for Ma'at, for about the laws of Ma'at, and I just spoke to Dr. Ashby. I'm going to be able to sing it at the conference in a few weeks. So I'm going to be working a lot on that song. And then over here we have the moon is now in the sign of Sidereal Scorpio, or Ip. And as you probably know, that sign is about our desires. So when the moon is in that sign, then that means our emotions, we're going to be emotional about our desires, our personality and our character. If we're not balanced by Ma'at, we may get, thrown into a downward spiral of desire and passion. Or if we're living with Ma'at, we'll take opportunity of this time to build our personality, our character, and make it stronger, so that either we only deal with our purified desires, or we're able to stamp out our lower desires, our lower nature. So we have this wonderful window for with the moon being in the Sidereal Scorpio, and Scorpio is only 7 days long, so it's not going to be in this constellation for very long, I assure you. And then the next exciting alignment features Ketu and Raphan, or Saturn, in Sidereal Ophiuchus in Hotep. So this means that that when we're able to see the beauty in all things, that will bring about a significant healing, because this time, at this moment, it's all about healing with beauty and healing. In any way that resonates with you, the focus for now is on beauty, like how beautiful it is for healing, to be healing. Like maybe you're healing, you're doing an enema and it's really gross or smelly or whatever, but to see the beauty in the transformation that you're going to experience, no matter how it appears, just stay on the beauty path. And then, of course, Saturn has been here for a long time, and so we are breaking beyond any limitations to our healing, breaking through any blocks or obstacles, willing to try new things and new processes and use new tools to help bring about our healing. We're just completely open to the miracles and the possibilities that come when we align with Ma'at and live with Ma'at. So briefly, that is what energy we're dealing with tonight in our healing session. And I'm really looking forward to utilizing these cosmic forces and these alignments in my own healing, and then sharing that with others. Like even doing this webinar is an expression of this alignment here with Sun and Mercury in Sidereal Libra, because I'm using my creativity and tools for communication to help raise awareness about Ma'at. So, and that is the purpose of these webinars, for learning how to use that information in our healing, and then with KemeTones using the sounds of these planetary forces. Okay, so here again I have about the video, and it's about 15 minutes. It took a long time for me to get it uploaded because it was 15 minutes and 50 seconds. Next one I have to keep it under 15 minutes. It took about 10 hours for me to get that video uploaded. So I really hope people watch it and enjoy it, because it was a lot of effort and energy. All right, so this summarizes the planetary forces that we're going to be dealing with in our sound healing session. Ra, Jehuti, and Ma'at, Rephan or Saturn, Het, Heru, Venus, Hotep, and Sesheta and Ip. And like I said before, if you want more detailed analysis of these alignments, just watch the video or go to HeruScopes.com. And Rhonda, have you had any new moon experiences? Anything out of the ordinary? Any new beginnings or new releases?
Well, in relationships, I believe.
What was that, hon?
In relationships, there was a release.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, now is a good time to, just bring yourself back to balance after having gotten rid of that energy out of your home and your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun.
It is.
My goal is to balance my my work with my creativity. Like I have to I spend a lot of time looking for work or gigs or clients, and not enough time just playing. Like even recording songs is great, but I need to have more time just to play, just to have fun. So that's, quote unquote, that's what I'm going to be working on is playing more. It's a sign that you're an adult, right? We have to make time to have fun. You have to put it on your schedule. But anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, so now we're going to go over some different ways to live with Ma'at in our life. And there's a song, I sing it probably too much, but I'm going to sing it again. It's a Ma'at song. I know Rhonda loves this song. Let me get my drum. I think the Christian is too loud. Put the little camera on. All right. Yeah, this is a really good song, and these chants or songs, they're really good for breaking up the energy. If we have toxic energy or negativity in our environment, the chanting helps change the energy too. So this song actually is inspired. The theme for this tonight's session is about living with Ma'at. So I have a drum here, but you can't see it on the camera. Maat, Maat, Akuma. Maat, Maat, Akuma. Maat Nebu Ten. Kahina Maat. Kahina Maat. Hatima Maat. Maat, Maat, Akuma. Maat, Maat, Akuma. Maat Nebu Ten. Kahina Maat. Kahina Maat. Hatima Maat. Dua Maat Nebu Ten. Dua Maat Nebu Ten. Dua Maat Nebu Ten. Dua Maat Dua Maat Nebu Ten. Which means Ma'at Anku Ma'at means Ma'at is the source of life. Maat Nebu Ten is Ma'at isn't everywhere you are. Kahina Ma'at, live with Ma'at. Kahina Ma'at, rise with Ma'at. Ankina Ma'at, live with Ma'at. Hasima Ma'at, join with Ma'at, let her guide your actions. Dua Maat Nebu Ten, adoration to Goddess Ma'at, who is in everywhere you are. So right now we're just going to be talking about some ways that you can live with Ma'at. Here I have this wrong. I have to do Ankina Ma'at. That's why I got confused. Ankina Ma'at, live with Ma'at. Hasima Ma'at, join with Ma'at, let her guide your actions. So, we're just going to go over a few ways that you can get closer to Ma'at in your life and establish balance. Oops, I didn't mean to make that go away. And welcome for joining me, Sasta Aka. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Saste Aka. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And if anytime you have any questions or comments, just interrupt me or ask your questions in the chat room. I'm so grateful that you are here. So one way that we can get closer to Ma'at is by studying her iconography, the artwork and images of Ma'at. And I have several more up throughout this presentation. But in this one, we have the image of Jehuti offering adoration, offerings to the goddess Ma'at, who is symbolized by an ostrich feather. And the feather represents when your heart is when they say you're as light as a feather, your heart is as light as a feather. When the body dies, let me bring that iconography in here. When the body dies, our heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at. And so if your heart is heavy with regret or sorrow or sadness, then it's too heavy, and your soul will be sent to not a very nice place, so you can work out your bad karma. So the idea in life is to, this is an old picture. The idea in life is to live in such a way that your heart will be lighter, as light as a feather or lighter than a feather. And this is not the best image, but this is the image of the scale of Ma'at, and you have Anpu. Now you have the alligator Amit here, and the heart of the aspirant is in this container, and then the feathers on the other side. And so when we're living our lives, we want to keep our heart as light as a feather so that we have no regrets. You know, we stay in alignment with divine, so that even if things don't happen the way we want them to, we're able to just be at peace with the reality that presents itself. So you can look at the different artwork of the goddess and reflect on what you see, reflect on what comes to your mind. The idea is to study the goddess so that her virtues and qualities become our virtues and qualities. And we're going to go over that later on in the program as well. Another way to get closer to the goddess is through devotion. Having rituals or ceremonies or spiritual practice where you make offerings to the goddess. You can offer your actions, you can offer your words, you can make food offerings, you can sing. There's so many ways to show devotion to the goddess. And when we're showing our devotion, expressing our devotion and our love for the goddess, we're also expressing love for our higher self and for ourselves, for our own life, showing appreciation for the goddess's presence in our life. And I'm a member, or I'm an initiate of Chaitau Netter, the Temple of Aset, the Temple of Hidden Divinities. And I'm also the priestess of a temple here at my home, Asmataji Temple. And the way that I make offerings to the goddess is by writing songs and singing them and sharing them with people. So everyone's going to have their own way of expressing their devotion for the Creator, for the Divine. And you can have different items on your altar, like the feather or the scales. Those are the main symbols of Ma'at, the feather and the scales. Okay, and like I said, if there's any questions at any time, just please feel free to stop me. I don't mean to talk for the entire hour and a half, but I usually do. Then another way you can get closer to the goddess is by chanting. I just invoke the goddess by singing that song, Ma'at Anpu Ma'at. And there's several other chants. If you can't remember that one, you can always just say Om Ma'at. Om Ma'at. Om Ma'at. Or you could, you could repeat after me if you want to try that. Let's try it. I'll do it, and then you can repeat after me. Om Maat.
Om
Maat. Beautiful. Om Maat.
Om
Maat. And then we can also do dua, which is adoration. Dua ma. Dua ma. Dua ma. Dua Ma. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, it's a beautiful chanting and praising the divine. And so chanting is when we just repeat sacred words of power, and then singing is a little different. I have a beautiful song I wrote about Ma'at. I'm going to offer that now. I haven't been sharing it very much. And it's a song based on the teachings of Seba Ma, Dr. Ashby, Dr. Moya Ashby. And it's available on my CD of Kemetic chants and songs. And here we go. Let me put the camera back. There we go. Let's share. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'll do this. And the song is called Two Roads. What do you want most in life? For what are you truly looking? What is there in this life? To fulfill your darkest longings, needs, and desires. If what you've been seeking had already been found, you would not be hearing the message of this sound. When you have grown tired of life's illusions and betrayals, you begin to hunger for something substantial and real. There are two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. There are two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. Forget the world of human experience. Realize you're more than mortal human existence. Beyond the physical is the eternal. The goal of yoga is unity in body, mind, and spirit. There are two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. There are two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. Two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. There are two roads, the path of ignorance and the path of wisdom. Yes, indeed. We can go through life just trying new things blindly and having all kinds of crazy experiences, or we can follow the wisdom path as laid out by our ancestors and wise protectors who have, laid out a path for us and follow the principles of Ma'at. We follow the principles of Ma'at, we will have a much better quality of life and, chance for happiness. Well, not chance, opportunity for happiness and success. And then, oh dear, that's a typo there. Then another technique, which is a really powerful technique, is to study the wisdom teachings called Rek-Ab. Anytime you're feeling like panicky or emotional or ungrounded or imbalanced, just grab one of the books that contains the wisdom teachings and read about Ma'at. Read Proverbs, or just remember something that someone shared with you before. Just go back to the wisdom teaching about Ma'at, and that is a surefire way to live with Ma'at, to join with Ma'at. If you learn more and more about her, even just by chanting her name, you can develop the qualities and characteristics of the goddess, of the divine, just by invoking their presence, just by calling on the ancestral and cosmic forces. You are, inviting them into your life. So next week we will dive into this, I have it here, this ebook, The Wisdom of Ma'at by Dr. Muad Ashby. Ma'at, it means Ma'at, of course, but what it really means is the dual goddesses of truth, of above and below, heaven and earth. And that, of course, means Aset and Nebuhet. So when you see the word Ma'at, it's just even more powerful because it's really three goddesses in one. But next week we will spend some time going through this text. Let me just see if I can. Sometimes you just pick something and it turns out to be the right thing. So let's see if I can find some. Oh, this is a beautiful iconography of a devotee or an aspirant making an offering to the goddess, but it's actually it's like a representation of the goddess, a little statuette of the goddess, and that symbolizes you making offerings to the goddess. And that can be in any number of ways I already mentioned. So let's see. Well, I'll just read a little bit here. Those who desire to tread the path of Ma'at should allow their devotional feeling to flow towards the Divine Mother Ma'at. You must begin to feel that your actions, thoughts, and words are those of the goddess. Place yourself in her hands and allow her loving hand to guide you. Feel that the adversity you have created for yourself will be overcome through the grace of Ma'at. See adversity as lessons from the Divine Mother and chant her name in adoration and praise as the very source of your strength and will to destroy what is ignorant and sinful within yourself, so as to purify your heart. And then we're advised to chant, and you all can repeat after me also. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. The one divine self manifesting as the dual goddesses of truth above and below, heaven and earth, assist us in attaining spiritual enlightenment. Grant that we become purified and enlightened. So that was nice. So that's another way to draw yourself closer to the goddess, to draw her closer to you, to become one with the goddess, Ma'at. And then, of course, meditation is another incredible tool for living with Ma'at, taking time out of your busy day to remember the cosmic force of balance, truth, order, justice, harmony, righteousness, reciprocity. And we'll have a brief meditation at the end of this program of Ma'at meditation. And then another, probably the most important way to grow closer to the goddess Ma'at, to live with Ma'at, is right actions. You should always make effort to do the right action. It may be difficult or it may seem impossible, but to just take that step in every situation. And it doesn't mean like to be judgmental as in my action is right and their action is wrong. It's simply taking what is the right action for you. And usually right action includes all of these steps that I mentioned earlier, developing your spiritual practice. But as we'll see in the next slide, it also deals with actions we can take in the world. Like the world is in a state of imbalance, and everyone has a role to play in bringing Ma'at back and restoring Ma'at to the earth. So you spend time with the goddess Ma'at in your prayer and meditation and ask, what is my next step? What was that? What's that? Do you have a question? No? I thought you had a question. Okay. just finding out what that right action is. Like, well, yeah, that'll be on the next one. And then seek and establish balance in all things. As I mentioned earlier, my goal for the next few weeks is to find balance with my work, my day-to-day chores, and my creativity. Like, I was supposed to stop this morning and play the piano for 30 minutes, and I completely forgot. So when I'm done with this presentation, I'm going to go and not do anything else until I've played the piano for 30 minutes. And so just doing that tiny action in my own life will have serious ramifications, you know, in the universe, because I am saying no to Babylon and yes to my creativity. So everyone has a similar choice to make in their life. So if you're living, you know, in a life in the corporate world, and you know that it's not good for you, then now is the time to take Maat Anu and create a balance in your life so you can balance your work, corporate life, and your true life. Or, let's see, somebody might like be addicted to sweets or chocolate or something, and so this is the time to balance that out instead of grabbing a cupcake or cake, or even in my case, organic junk food, and just stop and make a glass of juice or a smoothie. Just, you know, just stop. And the thing I really want to see in the world, the Ma'at action that I am going to be promoting for the next few weeks, is for everyone to decrease their plastic consumption in half. You know, I mean, there's some things that are useful and that are plastic, but the disposable plastics, if I'm going to be campaigning to get people to decrease their disposable plastic consumption. And that's a big thing for me. So then this next slide is about Ma'at Anu, just actions that we can take to make sure that our hearts are as light as a feather, because we don't want to have a heavy heart. You know, people say, you know, when you die, you go over everything that happened to you, so your Akashic record and da-da-da-da, you know, but why are we going to wait until our last days to put things in order? Like, we could be, something could happen tomorrow, and if it happens tomorrow and we haven't done right action today, when we go to the Hall of Ma'at and they look at our heart and weigh it against the feather, if it's heavy with regret or heavy with even inaction, we're going to be asked, why didn't you do anything about it? And, you know, procrastination is going to be a terrible excuse. Inconsistency, that's another one of my flaws. I'm going to be working on this cycle, being more consistent. So if there's anything that's tugging at your heart, like, oh, I wish I was more like this. Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish yada, yada, yada. Oh, it should be like this. If there's any trace of that in you, then I encourage you to take Ma'at action, Ma'at Anu, and do whatever it takes to make your heart lighter. If it's watching comedy movies for a week straight, whatever, because laughter is great medicine, whatever it is. So we're going to go through a list of some of my favorite Ma'at Anu actions. Let me just check the chat room to see if there's any questions. I think our other guest left because he was talking, and I just wanted him to, I thought he was asking a question. I didn't mean for him to leave, so maybe he'll come back. I could have muted the phone. Okay, so a list of techniques to help make our heart as light as a feather. And Rhonda is already familiar with some of these because we did some of this work during the 40-day Open Your Money Flow intensive. And it wasn't just about the money flow, it was just about the flow. And money is just one aspect of our flow. But if your money flow is limited, or even if just your flow is limited, if your relationships, if you have any type of blocks, that just means that your root chakra is heavy with trauma, or maybe your heart chakra is heavy with sadness and regret. So this first technique is for forgiving, Ho'oponopono. And when we forgive someone, it doesn't mean that we're letting them off the hook or, what they did didn't matter. It just means that we're giving it back to them to deal with. We're giving it for them. Like, we're giving for them. We're giving for them. That's how I think when I say forgive. So that the energy can be released. And Ho'oponopono is a 4-step process, and you do it once between yourself and the person, place, thing, situation that's causing you to feel a heaviness, and then you do it from the perspective of that person towards you. You can write a letter, you can talk it out, you can chant it out, you can draw it out, whatever. But and Ho'oponopono is an indigenous Hawaiian healing technique. It's a very ancient technique, and you can learn more about it all over the web. You can download my ebook, The Secret to Money Flow, and it's outlined there. But the 4 steps are: I apologize. I don't like to say I'm sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I guarantee you, if you work with this Ponopono and the energy of forgiving, your heart will become lighter. It may take a while. Like I've been working on one with my brother. It took me about five attempts to get it just right. But you will definitely, your heart will be lighter. Another way to let go of things that are weighing down your heart or blocking your root chakra is to release and let go. Let go and let God. And the number one tool for that is taking an enema. That might be the last thing you think about when you're thinking of Ma'at. But if you're, when you think about all the things that we're not able to process or digest or let go of, it causes a block in the digestive area of our body. That's where our wombs are in that area, the creativity chakras in that area. It's not just your gut. Like when they say you've got a feeling in your gut, trust your gut. It's really a feeling in your womb, a feeling in your intuition. And so all the toxins, energetic, spiritual, ancestral, physical, all the toxins are stored or trapped in your intestines, in your colon. And until you flush them out, they're just going to keep building and building and building up. And then, of course, writing in your journal is another way to release and let go and ask the divine for assistance. Lively up yourself, a great way to do that is fasting. Fasting is a great way to just completely change your energy and become light. Sometimes you just become so light, that you're vibing on the frequency of light, and it's difficult to interact with people who are on lower frequencies. So you got to, watch out for that. And then dancing is another way to, lift your spirits and release and just become lighter, like a light being. The next 3 items on the list we're going to go into in detail on the next couple of slides. But there's 7 principles of Ma'at, 42 laws of Ma'at, and 10 virtues of Ma'at. So even if you can't do any of the other things, if you can just keep these principles, laws, and virtues with you, you will be fine. We're going to go over those next. And then number 7, Aha Ma'at. Stand with Ma'at. Stand for Ma'at. Protect Ma'at. Defend Ma'at. And then I have down here, stand with Standing Rock and Hades. A lot of people think that once you get on the spiritual path that, you don't focus on things going on in the earth, the earth plane. You don't watch the news. You don't get caught up in politics, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't watch the news, and I don't get caught up in politics. But I do get triggered when I see somebody writing something completely ignorant or something that's really unrighteous or violent, like sheer stupidity, or lying. These are fetters of sex. abuse, rape, assault, those kind of issues, man, I'm going to stand with Ma'at and I'm going to speak out. I used to be really quiet, not wanting to stir things up or cause trouble, or didn't want to like offend people or hurt their feelings. Not anymore. I stand with Ma'at, and what does the saying go? I feed upon right and truth in my heart. That is what brings me joy, is righteousness and truth. And now I'm adding balance. And those are the things that I must have. I'm like Sekhmet. I hate ignorance and evil, and I detest unrighteousness. And it's becoming harder and harder for me to be quiet. So the balance part that I'm going to be working on is not reacting to ignorance or reacting when I see unrighteousness, but responding with truth. So that's my goal, responding with balance. Like whatever it is that I bring forth, it's going to bring forth some energy that will create balance in the situation or bring Ma'at. So, that's my goal for the next few weeks, well, the rest of my life. Okay, the 7 principles of Ma'at. If you heard the song at the beginning of the program, it's a song of mine, Are You Serious Enough? And the chorus consists of these principles: balance, truth, order, harmony, justice, reciprocity, and righteousness. So I don't think I need to go over the detail definition. Maybe reciprocity. Reciprocity is when it's like a mutual exchange. It's a balance. You are giving to someone or an event or a cause or something, and you are also receiving from this exchange. There's an exchange of energy. You're not just totally giving your energy. Like in a relationship, sometimes things can become one-sided, where one partner is doing everything and the other person is receiving. That is not reciprocity. That is not Ma'at. So you either need to shift the energy or get out of the relationship. Reciprocity is the mutual balance. It's equality, but it's more than equality. It's more than just 50-50. It's just making sure that it's a mutual exchange, because it may not be 50-50. It may be 20-80, but it's the exchange of energy, or if it's money for services, whatever. But just making sure that you have boundaries and guidelines to make sure that, first of all, you're not taking advantage of anyone else, and secondly, or most importantly, you're not allowing anyone to take advantage of you. So if you can just start to live by these principles, you live for balance, or you bring balance. Well, let's see, how does the song go? Moving towards balance, standing in truth, establishing order with harmony, brings forth justice and reciprocity through righteousness. So in that song that came to me, they all just kind of flow together. So like right now, I am moving towards balance and maintaining balance. And I'm just going to work with that one for now. These other 7 I have spent time on. But right now I'm going to deal with balance. See. Basuranda, is there any principles of Ma'at that you feel like you could, that needs work in your life? Oh, I think you might be muted. Are you muted, Rhonda? No. Nope. Okay, well, Rhonda, are you still there? Okay. Well, she's still there, but I don't hear her. Well, anyway, for those of you who are going to be joining on the replay, you could just go through this list and see if there's an area of your life that needs work as far as living with Ma'at. In addition to seeking balance, I am going to be establishing consistency, and that is going to help me bring about order in my life. I already have this little formula worked out for the next few weeks. All right, so here we have the iconography of the 42 laws of Ma'at here in the Medinetter. And the song I was talking about recently that I wrote is actually in the Medinetter. So, you know, you'll be able to memorize this and read it from memory. And that'll help you learn how to read it too, I guess. But I'm very excited about this new song. I don't know it by heart yet, otherwise I would sing it for you now. But when you're doing this practice, and there's several different versions of the 42 laws of Ma'at. They've all changed the wording around to resonate with their frequency. But they'll all work, whatever copy you have. I have the copy that comes with the Shatao Netter. Here's another version that I found online. So the practice is in the morning, when you wake up, you say, I will not. Well, that's with another version of the law. This one's different. This one just is more active. I honor virtue. I benefit with gratitude. Let me run and get the other one, because that's the one that's more in alignment with the practice. I'll just be right back. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, this is a different version of the laws of Ma'at. But the original one that's taken from the the Pert in Heru is also called the 42 Negative Confessions. And so in the morning you say, I will not, and in the evening you say, I have not. So here we go. I'm not going to read all 42, but I have not done what is wrong. Very. I have not acted with falsehood. I have not robbed with violence. I have not done violence to anyone or anything. Very. I have not been rapacious, taken by force, plundering. I have not committed theft. I have not coveted. I have not murdered man or woman. Very. I have not ordered someone else to commit murder. And so it goes through like that. It's 42. So that's how you would say it at the end of the day. And in the morning, let's go through some of the other ones. You would say, I will not defraud temple offerings. I will not desecrate food supplies or increase or decrease the measures for profit. I will not act deceitfully. I will not act with crookedness. I will not rob the things that belong to God. I will not tell lies. I will not snatch away food. So, and it goes on for the other 31 principles or laws. So that is another excellent way to live with Ma'at, to keep these principles in your heart. Let's see what this is. Another version here. I listen to opposing opinions. I create harmony. I invoke laughter. I am open to love in various forms. I am forgiving. I am kind. I am respectfully of others. I am accepting. I follow my inner guidance. I converse with awareness. I do good, etc. And then here's another version. I have not taken food from a child. I have not acted with insolence. I have not been angry without reason. I have not seduced anyone's wife or husband. And then you just say it in reverse. I will not pollute myself. I will not terrorize anyone. I will not disobey the law. I will not be angry. I will not curse God or the goddess. So that's a very good practice. And so the next section are the 10 virtues of Ma'at. Now, once you become an initiate of Ma'at, it said that these virtues here is part of your initiation. And I was also told that once you get to a certain level of your initiation, you you move beyond reciting the 42 laws and you focus on developing these 10 virtues. So when I was at this level in my journey, I would recite these 10 virtues every day. But I would recite them as if it already happened. I give thanks for this as if it already happened. So I would go, I am so grateful that I'm able to control my thoughts. I'm so grateful that I'm able to control my actions. I'm so grateful for my devotion of purpose. I'm so grateful that I have faith in the ability of my teacher to teach me the truth. I'm grateful I have faith in myself and my ability to accept the truth. I'm grateful I have faith in my ability to act with wisdom, to wield the truth. I'm grateful that I am free from resentment under the experience of persecution. I'm grateful that I'm free from resentment under the experience of wrong. I'm grateful that I've cultivated the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, and I'm grateful I have cultivated the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. So if you, you stay close to these virtues and work at developing these characteristics in yourself, that would really help. And then number 7 and 8, being free from resentment. That would completely lighten up your heart. If you could be free from resentment, that means that you've done a lot of forgiving and you have established some boundaries and guidelines, and you don't take things personal anymore with no judgment, still standing for justice, but at this point you are able to have compassion for people because they're ignorant of these principles. Someone who doesn't know anything about Ma'at, how can they be expected to have right action? So that is another powerful way to live with Ma'at. Are there any questions? Some comments? It says that you're still there, but I think you must have muted your phone. And I don't know if the other surgeon's coming back. Okay, so then we will move on to the KemeTones section. Oh, there goes my drum. There's a sound for you. KemeTones session with the tuning fork. The voice is also KemeTones. The sounds of the Neteru is another aspect of KemeTones. Oh, dropping your phone is another aspect of KemeTones. Okay, so now we're going to work with some of the tuning forks that are corresponding to the planetary alignment that we are experiencing right now. I'm having a little technical difficulties with these chords today. I was in the Money Flow program. I had a great identification of a block that I had with technology. If you've been studying with me or following me for a few years, you've seen some of the crazy things that have happened between me and technology. And I'm grateful to say that I'm making progress with that relationship. I really just started to see it as an energy, not a stupid machine. And so I've just been making friends with energy. I bought a little crystal for my computer and just having a different relationship with computers altogether. Okay. So KemeTones. Ra, Jehuti, and Ma'at, Rifan, Heteru, and Hotep, Shesheta, Ip, and then different parts of the body. All right, so let's get the camera on. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, so a magical treatment to bring about balance. Starting with forks for grounding. Just going to be working on the heart, because we want our hearts to be as light as a feather. The heart and the throat. We go to the lung points. That's where we have our grief. We want to release any sadness. And of course, start on the feet. Oops, that didn't go. So, thank you. All right. So, I'm going to do Ra and Jehuti for creativity and communication, writing, and intelligence. More stuff falling. For illumination. On what to release and how to release it. Moving blocks with the new moon. Just removing any blocks to expressing my truth, anything that's causing my heart to be weighed down. I'm just letting it go. And, removing any limitations to expressing my truth. I'm not responsible for how people react or respond when I express my truth. That's a really important lesson. Feeling sorry. It's one thing to have compassion, but it's another thing to feel sorry for someone because you express yourself. We have Saturn and Venus are in alignment with Hotep. So we're using the love of beauty path for healing and breaking beyond any boundaries or limitations that are not serving us. And letting go of fear of expressing ourselves, expressing our truth. Finding a way to express ourselves that's beautiful. Just because it's true doesn't mean it has to be harsh. That's lesson I'm learning. Finding the correct way to express your truth. I'm going to do this one now. The Mars fork is associated with Scorpio. So we're going to do new moon, or the moon in Scorpio. I don't think I've ever used this combination. Okay. And then we have extraordinary vessels for today, Yin, Mai, and Chong. Yeah, Yin, Mai, and Chong. Ah! So I have, a chart of extraordinary vessels. We've gone over this before. And then the Yin, Mei, and the Chong are actually like inverted. So one starts on the hand and ends on the foot. The other one starts on the foot and ends on the hand. I need my glasses. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to use a combination of the tuning fork to bring about the desired transformation and seeking balance. So the goal is to remove anything that's keeping me from attaining balance or staying on the beauty path. So with this one, you put one on the hand and the other one on the foot. Remember, you change sides. You do the left hand first and the right foot second. So removing blocks to staying on the beauty path. Removing blocks to having a lighter heart. And then removing blocks to my creativity and expressing the truth, expressing the teaching. Using my creativity to share the teaching. And then we switch directions and start on the foot and end on the hand. So we're going to start on the foot and go to the hand. This time I'm going to use this combination. Breaking beyond limitations in my healing journey. There we go. I'm going to do that Shisheta again. That's interesting. All right. Yeah, so the Chong extraordinary vessel is the one you use when you have you're unable to digest or process an issue or event or something that happened to you. That helps restore the flow of energy. And the Yin Wai Mei is the one when you're like you've gotten your heart broken so many times that it's got this huge scar tissue, and so you just don't really feel anything. So that one helps you get in touch with your feelings. That one helps you get in touch with your feelings so that you can release them. Because if you're not in touch with your feelings, you can't release them, and that's what causes your heart to be heavy. You're like, I have no words. You know, like recently I realized that I had blocked out so many things that I wasn't in touch with my feelings. And then when I started to try to feel them, I didn't have words to describe them. I don't have names for them. I just know that it's a feeling that I don't really like. So I'm going to be working with these tuning forks to get better in touch with my feelings, the cosmic forces. Okay, so let's do a little high frequency. Time is flying by, isn't it? Moving blocks in my communicating the truth. Eliminating any obstacles to expressing my truth. Illumination on the beauty path. Creativity, creating beauty with truth. I like that. Creating beauty with truth. Expressing truth with beauty. I'm sending this out into the world. The healing I'm doing on myself is for you on the call, that all those who will be watching the replays, sending these vibrations out into the universe. To heal yourself, heal your family, heal your neighborhood, heal your community, heal the community, heal the nation, heal the planet. That's how it goes. Goddess Quartz. All right. Okay, so what's next? Coming up for KemeTones. Well, okay, so that was the sound healing session for this evening. I did some work with the chimes on the video for the new moon, so I'm not going to do that right now. I may have a little bit during the meditation. If you have any questions about any of this, you can always write to me or join me in the KemeTones Rec App Study Group on Facebook. You can visit tachia.com, KemeTones.com, or HeruScopes.com for more information. The next thing coming up, the event coming up is the KemeTones Level 1 Certification Training, which is scheduled for January 8th through 16th in Port Antonio, Portland, Jamaica. And I'm going to be having a webinar this weekend so people can get a feel for some of the things we'll be studying at the retreat. So the webinar this weekend is going to be called KemeTones Devotion, the Cosmic Sounds of the Initiative. So stay tuned by using your tuning forks or these chants, and please stay in tune so you can get the login information. It will be at the same place, the conference call.com/cosmic4. I have not determined the time as of yet. So be sure to tune in for that. And Ankh Uja Seneb, here are some of the cosmic tones that you'll be working with for level 1. We have Ra, Anpu, Shesheta, Jehuti, and Geb, the Om fork. That's one that in the picture. So, and then also the Ta Earth fork, the green Earth fork. So those are the cosmic forces we'll be studying this January for the level 1 certification. And we'll also be covering the topic of post-traumatic slave syndrome and opening your money flow. So there'll be aspects of the program there. And the class is not just for people who want to become sound healers. It's also for people who just want to learn more about healing with sound. Okay, so if there's any questions, check in the chat room. There's no questions in the chat room. Rhonda is logged in, but I think her phone is on mute or something. I don't know. And so the next aspect of the program is the meditation. So I invite you to get into a comfortable seated position. Oops. You can sit on the floor with your legs crossed, or in a chair with your feet firmly planted on the ground. Yeah. You can lay down on the ground, sit on the floor in the lotus posture with your legs crossed, or in a chair with your feet firmly planted on the ground, keeping your back straight. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths. Take a few deep breaths together. Inhale slow and deep, allowing the abdominal area to expand. And relax, allowing the abdominal area to contract. So it's almost touching your spine. Exhaling all the air out of your system. And then another deep inhalation. Inhale all the way up to your crown chakra. And exhale. I invite you to visualize yourself seated on a beautiful hill, the top of a hill. Beautiful wildflowers all around you. And the sun is shining warm and bright. There's a few clouds overhead, so it's not too hot, but mostly the sky is a beautiful shade of blue. And you're just sitting there, inhaling the beautiful sounds and the flowers in your environment, beautiful sweet smell, beautiful sounds of the birds chirping. You can even hear the butterfly wings flapping as they fly by. You're just having a wonderful moment. And then all of a sudden, a thought pops into your head. And this thought takes you to a time and place that maybe was not so pleasant. And you're not exactly sure why that thought comes to your mind at this moment when you're having such a beautiful time just out in nature. However, it does. And so in this moment, this thought has entered into your consciousness and now is circling all throughout your body, all throughout your energy field. And it settles in your heart. And on your next exhalation, I want you to release all the sadness that you feel from this thought. Maybe it's just a heavy sigh. Or maybe it's a teardrop. Just let it out. Just take a few more deep breaths and allow the thought that is settled in your heart to just be there. Just feel the sadness. Feel the heaviness in your heart. Maybe your shoulders are drooping. Maybe one more heavy sigh. And then you open your eyes and you look up and you see this beautiful feather falling through the air. There's no giant birds around, but it's a beautiful white ostrich feather. You're not in Africa, and ostriches don't fly, so there's no way it could have just come from a bird. So this beautiful feather is just floating down to you. And as it gets closer and closer, you can hear this beautiful sound. It's the most beautiful sound you've heard. It's not a bird singing. It's not a waterfall. It's not the roaring fire, the sound of the fire blazing. It's a beautiful sound on the wind. And as the feather falls closer and closer to you, the sound gets louder and louder. And it's a beautiful sound on the wind. And the feather is so close to you that now it's gently caressing your face, caressing your energy field. It's revitalizing your meridians and your chakras. It's purifying your brain so all of your thoughts are balanced. And when it gets to your heart chakra, you feel the feather of the Maat feather inside your heart, gently caressing and massaging your heart and washing away all the sadness, washing away the pain, washing away the negative toxins that resided in your heart from the thought that entered your body and landed there. And the feather of Ma'at, with her balance, her beauty, her truth, her harmony, her order, her justice, reciprocity, and righteousness, has washed away the sadness and the pain in your heart. And now your heart is just shining bright, radiating love and compassion and wisdom and joy. And it's as light as a feather. Oh, and then the feather leaves your body, leaves your energy field, fully charged and renewed with all of your loving energy, and gently floats on to the next light being in need of its heart being rendered as light as a feather. You slowly open your eyes and gaze upon the beauty and majesty of your surroundings, feeling oneness and Hotep. Om Hotep, 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 Hotep. Peace, 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 peace. Well, my dog and I thank you for joining us tonight. And I look forward to reading your comments or reading about your experiences with this Ma'atical meditation. Join me next week at the same place, 5 o'clock Pacific time, when we're going to dive into some of the teachings of Ma'at and learn how to use the teachings and the wisdom teachings to bring us closer to Ma'at and help us live with Ma'at every day in all of our actions. Because remember, Maat Nebu Ten, Ma'at is in everywhere you are. Hotep.
Yes.
Dua.
What you were laying again?